Hello guys, I'm super excited about what we will create today in this tutorial because a lot of you wish that I will show you how we will do this. Today we will create exactly this render. I've created it already, and first of all I have to say that Jan Elsner, like you can check him out on Behance, inspired me a lot to create this work because yeah, in my opinion it's super important. Maybe it looks like almost exactly as this one from Jan Elsner, but honestly I like a little bit more because like we have all that caustics, and yeah, I will show you how to create them. But what I wanted to tell you, it's very important that you take like references like from people who are very good and that you just study it and learn it. And especially in that example, he have also posted like some images of the different lighting setups and different lighting sources he used in the scene. You just try to recreate exactly the same artwork or scene because you learn so much along. And I didn't know how to create like this kind of caustics I have here on my render. In the process, you just learn it and you ask on Facebook groups, or you watch like tutorials, or you check it out on Google. But you have like a kind of a North Star. So what you want to create, and you just try to recreate it, and then you just go step by step. And I learned so much just like by recreating, and that's why it's so important like to sometimes even like to steal, like, you know, from other artists. Yeah, but of course it's always very good and important that you just tell that from who you took that piece or artwork. So yeah, let's just start. For that example, the stone I took, it was like a paid one. But I checked here out, I will put the links into the description, like some free sources of rocks, and guys, they are absolutely amazing. You just go to the link or CG Trader, you just put in like rocks, and there are a lot of free stuff. So you just click on free download, and then you have to wait 20 seconds, and then you can download the files. And you will just need this rock and the model you want to use, or the perfume we created in our last tutorials. Just check out my 3 last parts where we did it, so you can use it and follow along completely from zero, and we will do completely everything from zero, so you can do exactly what I do. Then let's jump into our 3D program, and I'm using here Cinema4D, but you can use any 3D program, like the principles are the same. So we have our 3D model, our Dior perfume that we've created with all the materials. I don't tell you about how we created the materials and the shaders because we did it already. And now what we just do, if we check our reference image, like first of all, I want to recreate like this kind of stone thing here where it stands. Like we don't care so much now about the lighting and about like the atmosphere and the caustics and the materials. We will just create like the rough scene. For that, I have all my rocks from the links in the descriptions. What I just done already, what I don't do again because it just take too much time. You just take a rock and you just import it, and you just check it out if you like it. For example, yeah, we take just one rock, for example, this number 9, and we take it from our new scene and we paste it like into our project, and we have to scale it. And then we have something like that. And also what is very important, let's create from the beginning on the camera angle. Then we have like the framing and we know exactly where to place our stone. So for that, I just start my Octane Render here and just press render. And yeah, that looks a little bit off. And yeah, that looks a little bit weird, but doesn't matter. So we create like our Octane camera objects, an Octane camera, we go into it. And yeah, we press F1. So we are in our main view, and we just zero our coordinates and our rotations out, and also X and Y. And now you see we are in the right direction, and we again we want like a flat perspective, so it looks like flat, and that looks just better. So we go to object of our camera, and we, for example, I don't know, we just create like 100 millimeters. I think that's okay. We press render here, and we just bring it a little bit up on the y-axis. Yeah, something like that. And from the beginning, we set up our render settings here. Oh, I did it already. But in this example, like to get this crazy caustics, you can get it only in the new Octane. You can also get it like in the older versions. But if you don't have like the new versions, I don't know, with 2022.1, guys, they say it's 1,000 times faster, like the photon caustics ray tracing thing. And that's really, you will see it later when we will do it. It's crazy fast. It looks so awesome. And for that, we have a new kernel. That's the photon tracing. So yeah, you have to use this. And you have some extra new settings. I don't touch them yet so much. I just played a little bit around. But if you just use photon tracing, it should work already. And again, we go to adaptive sampling. And we go specular depth a little bit higher, because we have a glass, and we put our mag samples a little bit down. We don't need so much diffuse depth, no scatter depth. Yeah, that should be good for now. And also let's just bring an environment, because this standard white lighting from Octane, it don't like that. So we go to objects and HDRI environment, and in the image texture we just use like some kind of HDRI. It doesn't matter so much because we will not use it later. Yeah, I don't like that one. Yeah, maybe something like that, but I just want like a black background. So for that, we go to objects and texture environment, and we go to our tag here and type, we make it like a visible environment, and we go to the RGB spectrum and just make it a little bit darker. So yeah, we have something like a little bit like a rough sketch how we can work. If we go to F2 again and go to cameras and to perspective, we can move in our scene without like moving the camera. So yeah, so what I just do, I will take the rock and just scale it and rotate it. And I will just try to recreate like this kind of shape, you know, like some rocks works better, some rocks doesn't work, you know, like for example here, it's just flat and it just looks boring, you know, like I want like this kind of hill. So yeah, this rock didn't work out for me, but the rock number 13 worked out pretty well. So yeah, I positioned it already, guys, and you can really play with your rocks how you want. Maybe you want to take something different, maybe a wooden barrel or something could also work. So yeah, you can just be creative, because yeah, I like it here that I can put on like my perfume a little bit, and I have like this going left and right going down, and I have here like a little hill, which is a little bit too high, I guess, for me, for the caustics, but we can just sculpt it later. I will show you a little bit down, so it's a little bit more flat, and also like this part here, so it's a little bit more flat, so it just looks a little bit more realistic. So now we can create like a texture for the rock. For that, because those textures here in the spec I put you in the description, comes perfectly with all the maps that we need and like the model. So what we will do, we just create like an Octane diffuse material, drag it onto our rock, and go into node editor. I have like here a hot button. You can just put it also to your interface. If you go to window, customization, customize commands, and just go Octane node, then you have your Octane node editor, and you can just drag and drop it there into the menu and save it, and then you always have it. So we go to our material, we call it main rock, and we go to our node editor, and we just drag and drop all of our materials. Like these materials, they are in 4K, this is good. You could even take 8K if it's like a very close up shot and you go like very high resolution render. But if I would make an animation, or the rock would be like more far away from the camera, I would downsize like the images, because yeah, it's just taking too much memory, and especially if you have like too much textures. So always never just use like the highest quality, highest resolution texture, because you don't need it in most of in the case. But in this case, because our rock is very near to the camera, we definitely go with the 4K textures, and we just drag and drop them. So yeah, I just plugged this 3 into the 3 nodes here. And for the displacement, we need a displacement node. We put it into the displacements and the displacement texture into the displacement node. And we put here 4K into level of detail. And maybe just a little bit less of a height. But yeah, we can see it later. So yeah, we have something like that, and I like that. And yeah, if you see like the color doesn't match at all, but that we will do a little bit later, where we can adjust the rock color, and we also will do a lot of in the post editing. I don't know if it's in the first video or the second video. So yeah, we have something I like more or less, but I don't like this bump here on the rock. So let's do that. We go to our moss rock, number 13, and we go to our sculpting. Don't forget to save. And yeah, we have here like this bump, and we just take like our grab tool and we just put it a little bit down. And this parts here, we just put them a little bit up. You will not see it, I think, so much, but still, like, you know, and I don't spend again too much time on this stuff here, because yeah, it's just a tutorial. Right, you get the point. So I also don't want that the glass is intersecting with the rocks, and because you will see it, but yeah, it's absolutely enough for now. So we go again to our main view here, and yeah, you see that looks good. Maybe we could, even if we check like our main image here, it's very flat, but in this example, like the rock is a little bit going up behind the bottle. I don't know if I like it. Maybe. Let's maybe bring it just a little bit and we can see it then later. So again, just to the grab tool, just a little bit bigger of the size, much bigger. And we just bring this everything a little bit more down, so it's not so prominent, you know. Like, I don't know if it will look good or not, but yeah, you see, maybe I liked it a little bit more, and maybe bring like those signs even a little bit more down. So yeah, it's really going like you have a little hill. So yeah, I think that's okay. So yeah, I just adjusted it a little bit, because if we check here our reference image, we have like this super beautiful gradient in the liquid, and I also wanted like that all the liquid is covered with that. It's a light source. We will do it in a second. So yeah, I think that should work right now. Yeah, what we can do, honestly, we can go to our main rock texture, put in a color correction node between the albedo or the color map, and yeah, so we have it here. And now what we just can do, we bring down a little bit saturation. You see, it's still a little bit yellow, but I think that comes from the... Okay, sorry guys, I just had some issues with my HDI environment, so I don't know, like I put in just my Octane Rig Pro, but yeah, for you it stays everything the same. So yeah, we have something like that. And if you see our texture, if our saturation is still yellow, but that comes because of our HDI environment. But we don't need our HDI environment later when we do our lighting, so it will be grayed out. So I think we could start now with the lighting, actually. So yeah, for that, again, you just go to our HDI environment and you just bring the power to 0. That looks good. And now let's just start with the lighting. First of all, I want to create like this kind of spotlight. If you see like those edges here, they are much more darker than our center here. So all of our attention goes to the object. For that, we create our IES light, objects, lights, and Octane IES lights. And we call it IES light, and IES light is just kind of a special light. It's different from an area light because you can just load like different IES light sources. It's like a spotlight. There are a lot of different ones, and you can also, I put also a link in the description. Like here, you can download them for free and they are amazing. And you see, you just have more of light sources like you have like in the real world, like with a different kind of a texture and with the distribution of the light. So yeah, we go to our IES light, to our light tag, and we see here distribution and image texture. And here we can just load our IES light. So this is here our IES light pack. I think it should be the same as in the download. And here you see, you have like all those previews of the light. And in this example, I just like this defined spot one. So you just press define spot .ies and no, and then you have your light and you just have to rotate it 90 degrees and boom. You see, it looks really, really cool. And yeah, you can play with the scale. You go to our light tag and just play a little bit more, not with temperature, a little bit more with the strength. Maybe bring it a little bit even down. Yeah, I think I like that a lot. And now you also see like our stones lost the color, so we can bring a little bit more of it. So yeah, so we just have like a little bit of a color, and we can adjust it also like later. And I think that should be it. And also we can just bring a light target. So we go to animation, right click animation target and just bring our perfume bottle. So now we can just also play a little bit around with like different angles, you know, but yeah, that should be fine for now. Just make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, and you see guys, like the texture is different than the one from my reference image. But I don't know, I couldn't find like a free one with like so much detail and like such a beautiful texture. But yeah, you can, I use always like Quixel, it's cheap. You can download like highest quality assets. But for that example, like to show, it's also, I think, absolute enough. We can call it IES top, so we don't, so we are not distracted. And yeah, we turn it off. And now I want to create like this kind of fade in the liquid. For that, again, just we click on our perfume bottle, we go to objects, lights, and Octane targeted area light. And we just bring it behind. So yeah, you see something like that. And you see we light also our glass, but we don't want it. So let's call that gradient light. And we go to our light settings. And our light path ID will be a 2. And if we go to our glass body material, so this thing here, we also again like right click, you know it already, Octane object tag, and you go to object layer, use light path mark, enable, and we untick number 2. And you see something looks wrong, and that's just because we see the light behind it. So we go to our gradient light, to the tag and just untick here camera visibility and shadow visibility, and we still see it. So I think it's just like this top glass part. So we go to the top glass and again just object tag and do the same. We enable it and untick number 2, and that should be fine. Perfect. Now we can just bring the intensity a little bit down from the light, and again into the distribution we bring in a gradient. And we go to the gradient and make 2dV, so it's going from down to top. And now we just have to scale it a little bit and just play a little bit around with it till we find something we like. And also I like just to a little bit maybe rotate it. So yeah, we just make it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, we have something like that, and I think I like that. And yeah, we also light a little bit up like the stones here, but I don't think that's a problem. And with our spotlight, we have something like that. Maybe let's just rotate like the stone just maybe a little bit to us. So it's going like a little bit more kind of a down. And yeah, we see here like in the background. So yeah, I think that should work for now. And if we see here our reference image, we see our glass is not black. And for that, because, you know, like our environment, texture environment is just black behind it. So for that, let's create like a backdrop. That's also very easy. We just create a plane, just scale it down. We don't even need a backdrop. So we can just rotate it at 90 degrees and just put it behind it. Like behind it, something like that. And what I've created here is just a dark texture, and here you see we have like kind of a gradient. that effect is not done in Photoshop, because we need, if we just would do like this in Photoshop, like in the post, like adding a background, we wouldn't have like inside of the glass like this kind of a gray. So we have to at least render it out with the glass and the backdrop. So yeah, let me just create a new diffuse material. We need, we call it BG for background. We put it on there. We make it a little bit more grayish, something like that. And now what we can do, we could do a lot of things, but for example, I don't know, just a very simple one. We create a sphere and we just bring it somewhere like there maybe. And now we create for the sphere just a material, a diffuse material. We call it a light sphere or something. We just drag it onto our sphere. We go to our light sphere and we make it emissive. So black body emission into emission. So we have light and also a texture, just a RGB spectrum if you need it. And we see already we have, you see something what we need. And now we can just play a little bit around with the sphere and just see where it works. Also we can surface brightness tick, because then it's a little bit brighter, and even bring like our intensity a little bit more down. So yeah, I think I like that. And we could go even a little bit somewhere here. So it has like an effect, kind of a spotlight is hitting like the wall behind it. So yeah, we have something like that, and we see our glass is not gray as we wanted it. And I just had to check a little bit around why it is. And yeah, it's logical, because if we see, like, as I said, like behind the glass, we should see our backdrop, but we don't see it because our light is blocking the background. So what we can do, very easy, we just go to our gradient light. It's what gives this effect to us. And we go to the visibility and we just bring the general visibility down. And you see, now it's just gone. It's just invisible, you know, for blocking the light and the view. So that's exactly what we need, and I like it. So now let's continue with like this kind of highlights. It's always good like to bring on glass like the highlights. So what we can do again, we just bring our plane and our sphere like under the light. And again, we press on our perfume bottle. We go to objects, light, and again, target area light. And we just disable our sphere and our other light sources, so we can focus on our highlight light, and we can bring it back. And again, we just don't need the camera visibility and shadow visibility, and also not the general visibility. And now we can just play again with the light, and we see we light also our rock, and we don't want it. So what we do, you know it already. We go to our light settings and we give it that time a light path ID of 3. And we go also to our moss rock, right click, object tag. We go to the object tag, use light path mark, enable, and untick number 3. And you see perfect what we need. We just have our highlight, and now we can really focus just on our highlight. And we see we don't need so much power, because it will just be overblown. And now we can just play around maybe a little bit higher. And you see we are getting already the caustics, but we will do it later much cooler. I don't know, maybe something like that, so we can enable all of our light and maybe just a render region to see how it will look. And yeah, something like that, you know, like yeah, I think I like it, because yeah, you just get a little bit like of a reflection inside. I will just go to our settings and just make the resolution a little bit higher, so we can look a little bit closer. And yeah, I think that looks good, because if we go also to our Octane camera tag, to the post-processing, and enable it, and we add a little bit of bloom, yeah, you see, you get already like a much really cooler effect. So if we just take our bottle here, you see it's just only with one light source we have like all those different highlights. Maybe we can add yeah, honestly, for that tutorial, it's good. Maybe, yeah, we can maybe even bring this still a little bit down, because yeah, the less power, the better. And yeah, maybe play here a little bit around, and maybe also duplicate it and bring it to the other side. And just again, just so we can focus on one light source. And yeah, you see also, I liked it very much. We have our straw inside, and if we have only our light here, for example, and our straw doesn't has a highlight, you know, it's just a black rectangle. So I like that very much. You see, like now, if we zoom in and we just take that, you see, like we have in our liquid, like this dark part, but our straw is like highlighted, so it brings it out. And that's always important, guys. Like always, contrast, balance, like in life, you know, like you have your dark parts, you have your bright parts, and always find like a way to combine them that neither of them is too prominent, you know. Some life lessons here. Yeah, I think I liked it very much. And maybe we could even, if we check our reference image, you see we have like, for example, in our image, it's just a plain rock. Yes, the texture is not so cool like in this example, but I don't know, I didn't search right now for so many free rocks here. But what we could add is just like I added here. If we zoom in, you see like some extra rocks, and that just brings a little bit like more interest, you know, a little bit more detail, a little bit more light. So I think that's a good idea. For that, again, we just go to our rocks here that we just download on, and just click, I don't know, in that example, I don't know, maybe rock number 9, and we just drag it into our scene, and we have something like that. And we just take it, Control C, and paste it, Control V, into our scene. We bring it up, and we have to make it a little bit bigger. And yeah, what's happening here? And maybe just bring it somewhere. I will not spend too much time because it's already taking too long. But you see, yes, of course, that doesn't look right now, because it has no texture, it's just white. That's why it's getting so much light. So yeah, again, we just bring a second one somewhere here. Maybe we can make it even a little bit longer and just rotate it and just bring it a little bit here. So, you know, like some old rock is coming outside, or maybe even something like that. But yeah, it's really like, you know, this is very important. Like, I can't spend too much time right now, because you really have to tweak and always just look at the whole picture, like, and see like what's working, where does it look good, maybe it doesn't look good. Sometimes, like, for example, if I like this scene right now, guys, I literally spend like a few seconds. You have to spend much more time with it. You know, like you go with one style, but after 1 or 2 hours or the next day when you work again, like on the render, you don't like the style. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't want even tomorrow use this rock. I want the wooden whiskey barrels or something. It's always like a dynamic change, and you know, but I like the image. So what we have to do now, again, we create like a diffuse material, and we call it rock details. And we bring our rock details to our rocks here. I delete just extra textures. We go again to our rock details. Very easy. We bring our materials again inside here. So yeah, I just plugged in the materials into the right nodes without the height, because yeah, I don't know, I don't need this right now. And we see, yeah, like the rocks are a little bit different from the color. So again, just color correction. And just bring it down with the saturation a little bit, so it kind of matches. But we could even, yeah, but I think I like that, and maybe a little bit darker or brighter. So yeah, you see, it's already a little bit more interesting. Like if you compare it, that's a little bit too plain, and this, you see, yeah, that's much cooler, guys, because like a little bit more interesting, a little bit more details, and again, spend more time with it, you know. But I think that looks even good. So now let's create like this caustics, And yeah, I don't know, I love Octane. I don't know how the other render engines work with this kind of stuff, but the new Octane version is just crazy. I just bring this a little bit down. So what we can do now, again, we just disable all of our light. We go to our liquid body, and again, just material, objects, lights, and Octane targeted area light. And we bring this light back, something like that. And we see already something is a little bit too overblown. So we bring our visibility down. So yeah, that looks good. So now it's not there what we need. And again, this time the light, we don't only want it to light our liquid. So we get the caustics, like in our reference image, you see it's clearly from the liquid. And for that, we call the light liquid caustics. And we go to our camera tag, and again, we assign like a new light path ID. I don't know which one, like 5. But this time we go to our glass liquid body, right click, C4D Octane tag, object tag, and use light path enable, and again 5. But we have to invert it because now our liquid doesn't see the light. So we go to our Octane settings here, we drag this a little bit down, and here you have like an option, light linking invert. And we just take our 5, so it's just taking the invert. That means our light is now, as you see, only lighting the liquid. And you see already we have kind of caustics are very important. Again, you have to click photon tracing, as I said in the beginning. And also you have to go to the liquid material and you go to the index. And now you have like here, because you see if that's not ticked, you don't have caustics. So you have to allow the caustics. Also very important, you have to untick fake shadows because otherwise you don't get this gradient. And yeah, now we see we need just more power in this light. So we really crank this up. But guys, I don't know, like if you're familiar with Octane, before the update, guys, you know how long you could wait for this caustics. You could wait like hours, you know, for like nice caustics. And now they are just here. Like, guys, it's faster rendering than my background. And we can even crank it even more up. Yeah, something like that. We can render also the caustics later as a separate pass. So yeah, we have more control over it. And yeah, so maybe I bring them a little bit down. I don't want them too crazy. And if we bring all of our light, you see, guys, just bring a little bit more of a sparkling to the image. Maybe I want it a little bit more. Yes, something like that. Oh, guys, it's just fun. Like, guys, and again, don't make too much of it, you know, because then it will just look unrealistic. And maybe I want it a little bit sharper. So I just bring it a little bit closer and make the light a little bit. Yeah, so we have something like that. And yeah, you see, like just a little bit, not too much. I know it's tempting because it's now so easy and so fast. But yeah, you see, like if we go here, yeah, you see like all the caustics are rendered. So yeah, I think that looks very good. And again, guys, like how fast we achieved this result. It's maybe 1 hour or so. Or for you maybe even less, because I will cut the video a little bit down. Yeah, I think that's really cool and I like that. Awesome, guys. Like now, like 2 more things at least. If you see here in the reference image, like the logo, your home is much more brighter than in our example. And also if you check here, oh guys, I love that so much. So here, if you see, like our image, our render here is very flat. Like I mean just the bottle, like the glass. And you see here you have like this kind of super awesome, beautiful aesthetic, like reflection of a light. And that's super easy to add. Click on our bottle, object, lights, and targeted area light, and we just disable all the other light. And again, visibility, we don't need all that. But now you see it's definitely too bright. Let me turn off that post-processing because yeah, it's just disturbing. So we just bring our light settings a lot down. Just, you see, just really a little bit. And now it's just, we make it a little bit longer and we bring it maybe to the side. So yeah, it's introducing itself. We make it even longer. And now we can just rotate it a little bit. Yeah, something like that. And you see, we have it like basically already. And now you just have to find like the right angle what you want. Yeah, something like that. So I'm not covering like the or maybe just the R. So something like that should be fine. I make it a little bit longer. So yeah, if we bring all of our light, you see we have like this kind of effect. And if we render it, like it will look better. But even, it's a little bit even too bright. So we can go a little bit lower, just really a tiny bit. Yeah, something like that, maybe even lower. But I like it, and you really can play around with like the angle, and you see like our gradient in our liquid is like one angle, and like this light is like the same angle. Maybe you could try, yeah, maybe you could rotate it and make it the other way around and see. But yeah, you just have to just play a little bit around and experiment. So I think that looks really great. And if we check our reference image here, that looks really cool. I like all that highlights. I like our reflection here, the straw, like the gradients, the background looks great. The only thing here is you have a little bit more of detail, but also if you check here, I have much more added, I have much more stones added to the scene. So yeah, I don't cover that right now because yeah, you get the point. And maybe just one more thing, if we just render that out, and if we go to our rock material, our main rock material, and we right click solo node on our normal map, we see our normal map here. And that just means like this colors, where is going like the light. So the normal map just gives us more detail in the texture, and we can just add a little bit more power to it. So maybe just 1.45 or something. And yeah, yes, we can, yes, definitely. We can see a little bit more of a detail. Like if we compare it and we go to power 1, yes, we have definitely a little bit, you see, like, yes, a little bit more of a shadow. And yeah, I like that more. We can even crank it up to power number 2. Yeah, we have something like that. And now we have much more detail. And yeah, obviously guys, you could add now here, I don't know, maybe some plants, or maybe, I don't know, like some golden objects, and yeah, so much creativity. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think it's a very good result that we got really fast, just an hour, and you can go much more further with it. I'm sure you learned like a lot of new stuff. So in the next part, we will render it out, this time with like a lot of different passes, because we can like improve a lot, because still like from here going to here, you see like the colors are not really matching, like the light is a little bit different. Also like we have like really good light source on the center, and it's really gradually fading away, and that we can everything do like very easy with the passes in the post editing. So for the next video, I will just render it out and all the Photoshop post editing. So subscribe guys, like, I hope you liked it. See you in the next video.